and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Couldn't even read a sign. Call her a roll call starting on my right.
Councilperson Brent Byer.
Councilperson Take Up to Grab.
Mayor Jimmy John King.
Councilperson Craig Anderson.
Councilperson Jeremiah.
Looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Any additions from the staff? Anything up here?
30 pages is the most beautiful sight I've seen in my 3.5 years on this council.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Approval of council meeting minutes of June 12th, 2018.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We're on finance and the budget. Accounts payable with the addition of accounts payable. New stamp works really nice. Examples of the
I
stamp.
was wondering what that was. I was going to ask her. Dang. That's not
Any questions for accounts payable for Finance Director Newmark?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That also carries. That takes us right to general business. The first item of general business is the brush and compost site update. Due to the wrap-up of the physical work of the wastewater treatment facility and now most recently the rainy weather, our staff has not had much of a chance to clean up and reorganize the brush and compost site. Staff is requesting and recommending we have the ability to have a temporary, until further notice, closing of the site until the city can clean up the non-allowed debris and the respective allowable areas can be better segregated with the associated signage. The closing would start on July 9th. Staff is again recommending the public to not dump non-allowed debris, as this may cause a permanent shutdown because the mayor does get a little iffy about it. We are also researching the cost and installation of cameras to better guard the site against this dumping and service some backup security for the wastewater treatment facility as well. So the council action requested is to either approve or deny the possible temporary until further notice closing of the site for cleaning and reorganizing purposes.
Assuming that you had good weather, do you have any idea how long of, like, I mean, I realize there's a lot of work to do, but.
We've had guys go out there and put in, a couple guys go out there for a while, and it's just because they bring more stuff right back in. It's like just we never get, but it's mainly the wet weather's been what's holding us back too.
So what kind of unauthorized, like what's getting dumped out there that's not supposed to?
This time
I
there's a lot
included
of
pictures of my, I mean, there was
building debris,
a truckload
railroad
of
ties.
building debris, there was bags dumped all
Cement
over, there
blocks.
was cinder blocks and posts and
Just
it was a lot. I mean, when I went out there, it was after one weekend. It wasn't there, so it was all on one weekend.
You know, that is so disappointing because it's truly like such an asset for the community to think that people just completely take it for granted and abuse it. I shouldn't be surprised because that's my job security
Welcome
every day. I
to the real
understand,
world.
but it's so disappointing.
And one of the reasons we talked about this is if we get it cleaned up where we can get it totally, they're less apt to do that stuff if it's all cleaned up. And I mean, right now it's way better than what it was.
I actually was just out there like a week ago and I thought it looked a lot better than a month before that. It's like,
And we've been plucking away at it, but it'd be nice just to get it totally done. So hopefully this illegal dumping gets put to an end.
How long you thinking, Joe? To get it cleaned up?
Again, it's the weather.
3 weeks, depending on the weather.
And hopefully we could get it done in 4 days, 3 days. If we have decent weather, we could get out there and I want to designate guys and this is what we're going to work on. And skip some of the other stuff for a bit to get this done and get ahead of it.
How are you going to reorganize it out there?
We've got the signs already in. We're going to put posts labeling what goes exactly where, and we just want to get that whole center area cleaned out so people back up and dump it to the east. And then we are going to bucket all of the burnable material up to a separate area with our grapple forks and burn it so people can't. Problem is people back up there and they just keep throwing their stuff on the burning pile so it never goes out. And the neighbors are upset so we need to separate so they can't do that.
Did that whole center spot just start just from people dumping in the center? I mean,
Well, we started and burned it there
Oh,
because
that's
we don't
burning
have
it.
the room, so we burnt it there, and then they just keep coming up and throwing it on top, so it never goes out. And we're trying to burn it only on days the wind's in our favor. And I get that the neighbors get upset that it is blowing towards them. So the only way to remedy that is to get it far enough away that people don't back up and dump there, and we've got to bucket it up and take it up there.
I'm gonna go along with staff recommendation. That wasn't what I had in mind after the second time. John knows that. I'd just soon see them lock it if they can't behave. But what needs to be in the paper and what people need to understand is, if this continues and the PCA shuts us down, we have no choice. Then they will be without it, without us really having a choice. Correct? Because it's not a dump.
Well,
It's not a dump. It's a
If they
burn
came out and
site.
stuff was getting burned in the piles out there that's not supposed to be getting burned, they could shut us
That's
down
right.
instantly. And some of the stuff, because Kevin pushed up and it's buried in the piles, so he didn't see it. And when I saw a couple in there and dug in there and looked, I'm like, there's a whole bunch of construction material in there. If they didn't come out and see that, we would be done.
So if somebody wants to keep it up, they can put us out of business without us having a say in it, basically. So they need to understand that. But I'll go along with the staff. Close it for the whatever amount of time you feel like you need it closed.
Is that a motion?
We put it to the night so that we talked about just doing it instantly. And Jimmy was like, let's just, and I took it back to the guys and proposed to them, and they said, well, we could be creating more headache than we're solving there, because they may just pull up on the road and dump it out in the road then, and now we got 10 times more work moving it around. And that has happened in the past also. So we decided on the 9th, that gets us past the 4th and frees guys up so that we have some time that, let's use that as the time to focus and get it cleaned up and be done with it.
Any other discussion about this here at the table?
In lieu of the cameras, would you like to have somebody out there monitoring that?
That's your guys'.
I've had a couple of people approach me about they would be willing to.
You can only find somebody that's retired that could do it between their bus routes and hang out there.
Well, there's no bus routes in summertime. It'd be between pull tab routes.
Whatever, I'm fine if we just, I mean, we're,
Not me. I don't want. I
What
don't
I'd
want
really
to-
like,
You'd be perfect
I'm
at
not,
that
I'm
job.
not looking for
Right here,
that.
right here, look.
I got another job.
he's overworked right now. He's overworked.
You gotta figure it out. Look what you want.
What I'd like to see happen, I'd like the citizens themselves to kind of monitor it.
Well, that too.
They
That ain't
got,
happening though, that's the problem.
huh?
That isn't happening, that's the
You
problem.
can't have it.
I did receive one quote on prices for cameras out there. It is higher than what I anticipated. And I have another company that came and looked into kind of a bid design, what they thought would work. So I'm waiting for that. I was hoping to have that, but just to give you guys some idea, not that we would do it, but to give you guys an idea to know what it would cost for cameras.
What's the estimate on the cameras now?
The expensive end of it was $6,100.
Well, let's readdress that. Did you make a motion or are we waiting on a motion still?
If anybody's got any more discussion, we'll have some discussion here. I could leave that as a motion that we go with staff recommendation, close it on July 9th until they feel they've
All
got
right,
it
I'll
back in proper
second,
shape.
I'll second your motion.
All right. Any other discussion?
I'm fine with that, but in a month from now, we come back, then what?
No, it was
Because it's been brought up for how many months now? That's my problem.
Well, you're not, you'd be asinine and shut it down right now.
No,
Give them a chance to get it cleaned
I'm
up,
not
see
for
what
it
happens.
shut down. I think we need to come up with another
You
option.
wanna put a monitor in there, you wanna put cameras in?
Well, I'm all for, I don't know, let's
That
just
gives
wait and
us
see what
time to work
happens.
on that too.
We got time to discuss that.
But what's gonna happen if you see him on camera?
Well, we're working on that with the police and the city attorney right now, if we can follow through with a fine or
So
not.
that's something we'll bring back at the end of July.
Well, I would hope so.
Again, our last discussion was we would start with the cheap end of this and work from the cheap end down. So the cheap end was just getting signs, placing it and get it cleaned up and then go from there. We just haven't been able to, with the rain and stuff like that, to get out there and clean the site up and get to that point yet.
I've still got a little faith left in our community, Brent, that they will monitor themselves and start taking care of this. You know.
Well, I'm out there every week, and there's a lot of people that aren't there from our community.
We'll start taking pictures of it.
And do all
You
of
got
it.
it.
Well, you're our monitor right there then.
You got a camera.
The
on
biggest
your
guy on the
phone,
board.
Take a picture, show it to us. So I'll go talk to him if you ain't gonna go talk to him. If you're right there and see him, go talk to him.
It's pretty easy to professionally belittle somebody into actually having some moral
That's
ethical
really not
conduct.
ever done.
You know, you can't just look from afar and say, oh, I know, you need to find out if you need to talk to them. You need to find out what the deal is. Just because it says on their door they're not from here, are you sure they're not working in our community for somebody?
One of the issues we have been having now is getting policed by some people, and they're jumping the contractors, and I've had the contractors call me that they're getting swore at when they're out there, but they're actually working in Stewartville, which we do allow, but because it's a business, people are jumping them out there. I told them, I said, if you're working in town, just take it with a grain of salt and let it go, you're fine with us. And they all agree that they have to be working in town.
But if you absolutely know somebody's chopping trees down in Rochester somewhere and hauling them down here,
Do you
let me
actually
know. I'll go
confirm?
talk to them.
You actually confirm they're doing something for somebody in Stewartville?
I did, on 2 of them.
Because I mean, they can
Yeah,
tell you, they can
absolutely.
tell you they
And
are.
are some going to? Yes, but the ones, 2 out, 1 I didn't know, the other 2 are people that do enough work even for us that I do trust them.
Yeah.
And I talked to them about it, and then the one we didn't, I drove by, I followed them and went to, and they were working on 4th Avenue Southeast, and it was from a different town that they were from. So they were.
Well, I'm out there every week, and that brush dump gets bigger and bigger. And I have a hard time believing all those trees are coming from town.
Then you need to start taking notes and names and bring them to me. If you're not gonna confront them, I'll confront them. I haven't got a problem with that.
And the way you make it sound, and I don't know which is what, but let's just say, for the sake of easy numbers, 100 people a week are dumping out there. In your mind, how many of those do you think should not be bringing stuff out there? Because the way I hear you talk, I'm thinking you're picturing that 50% of them are all from the outside, and that's
Well, I was out
huge
there probably 3 weeks ago, and there was a member from the fire department out there, and I was standing there talking to him, and I said, look around here and tell me, he knew everyone out there, so how many people, the 6 people dumping right now, how many people are from the city of Stewartville? And he said, none. I don't know who they are.
But he knows everybody. in
He
town.
knew everybody out there.
Where were they from? Did he tell you?
Not the city of Stewartville.
No.
So if he knows them, I mean, isn't there at some point there's an obligation to maybe talk to people and see
Yeah.
what's going on? I mean, it's sure helping if we're just watching it. And I mean, it seemed like a good opportunity, to be honest with you, especially if you had someone that could openly say, hey, they're not from here. I think I would just ask. I'm not telling you that you should have or shouldn't have. But I mean, I don't know. I just find it seems hard for me to believe that 80% of our dumping out there is from people driving from all over because they have so much brush and there's nowhere else to put it, so let's bring it to Stewartville. I do believe it happens. And I think some of the bigger people taking advantage of it are some of the bigger companies that have a lot of junk they're dumping. But to think, I mean, like 6 out of 6,
It's probably 50 to 60% that aren't Stewartville residents.
yeah, well, then maybe we got a bigger
You
issue.
couldn't
on
get that big a pile.
I don't know where that kind of numbers come from, you guys. I gotta be honest with you. I cannot fathom that it's 50 to 60% of the people dumping out there are from Stewartville.
That aren't?
Aren't from
Well, you don't
Stewartville.
get that big a pile from people dumping from Stewartville.
But are you talking people like that have Stewartville addresses? There's plenty of people that live out in the country that are outside the technical city limits that have a Stewartville address on their, and so they probably assume, okay, I'm Stewartville, I can do it. That could be quite a few people all out into
I
high
gotta be honest, the
forest.
last time I used that tree dump, I had 3 large, huge trees taken out of my yard. That makes a pretty good sized pile out there. There's trees coming down this town all the time. Matter of fact, we're gonna be tearing a bunch down up there on that new street project. They're all gonna go out there. Now, if you see that company out there, they're not from Stewartville.
I'm not even talking about companies right now. I'm talking about citizens. I'm talking about people.
Well, then I'm gonna ask you again, why, you're on the council, why don't you walk up,
I
call
don't
them,
know.
confront them, and
Because
say,
I don't know everybody. Like I said, I just asked the gentleman I was talking to.
well, then you gotta
how many
find,
people.
just like, you had a perfect person to come walk and say, hey, we know who you are, you're not from here, why are you dumping here, what's the deal, how come?
I did
Can you read the sign
talk. I did
out
talk
front?
to one person. He was from Sargent.
What did he
He
tell
brings
you?
his stuff down here all the time.
You
He
tell
has
him-
for years.
You tell him to cut it out?
Wow.
Sargent.
You tell him to cut it out?
He didn't know that he couldn't.
Quite a haul.
He can't read then, he's from Sargent, he can't
The
read.
sign just went up, Jimmy.
There's been signs there for years.
He's been dumping for years.
Then
All
he
the way
can't
from
read,
Sargent.
he's illiterate,
I
people in
have no
Sargent
idea.
are illiterate, is what you're saying.
He's from Sargent. That's where he's been bringing it. He brings his grass clippings and wood from Sargent because he didn't know what he
Well, I
didn't know
hope
there's
you
a problem.
informed him to never do it again.
I did tell him that there's a problem. He's the one that asked me.
I never
So then
seen
you
anybody
informed
out
him,
there.
don't ever bring him here
I
again.
said this for the citizens of Stewartville only.
Then you did inform him, never do it again.
I said they're putting a kibosh to it. We're trying to put a kibosh to it.
You should have said, I'm putting the kibosh to it. I'm on the council and we're getting tired of this.
Well, I think we got a motion in a second. I'm thinking maybe we can still look into it further. We're gonna have to, obviously, but not tonight.
Obviously.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. On to the next one. Transfer of liquor license. American Legion is requesting to utilize Minnesota State Statute 348.404 sub. 4 to sell intoxicating liquor at Florence Park on July 4th during Summerfest. Special provisions, that's the statute. Council acts requested to authorize the American Legion to utilize the state statute to sell intoxicating liquor at Florence Park on July 4th, 2018, subject to all proper application. Do we have a motion?
God, I think if we denied this one, we could mess up the entire Summerfest.
I'll move approve. That's your plan.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Besides trying to sabotage Summerfest? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't hear that part.
You didn't hear what he said?
No, I don't want to.
Carries. That takes us out of general business into mayor staff consultant reports. Tonight, the city would like to send their sympathies to the families of Tammy Beach, Becky Asselson, Eugene Behrens, John Tinter, Marlene Miner, Clarice Wolf, Jonathan Stevens, and Maverett Cook Berger. This would be Jerry Berger's mother. She passed away. Jerry did serve on the council a time or two. Happy 60th birthday to Tom Slidham, one of our outstanding younger, older generation citizens, I guess you can say. Congratulations to Tag and Paper Supply, who was a recipient of the Gold Food Service Award from the United Group. And also congrats to, Dick may know this one, Shane Optegraph for his first hole-in-one during the Buckmeyer Sprint for a Cured Classic on June 8th.
I never heard that.
Didn't you?
No, that's news to me.
He said, now this is...
He said he's got a hole-in-one, but he's never bowled a 300. That's next.
Congratulations to him. Storm is coming July 16th to 20th. If you or someone you know could use some help, please give them a call. They are willing to do almost anything. See the Stewartville Star for more information on that. And before we meet again, it will be Summerfest will have been and gone already. That's coming right up pretty fast. Looks like the chamber has a bang-up celebration plan for all of us again, and all the visitors that will be coming to our town. There's an event for everyone, Dick, starting with the 5K run if you'd like.
I admit it.
Well, Hook, the movie in the park, is there too. Pets in the park, dance, car shows, arts in the park, kids pedal pools, kids fishing contest, Shakespeare in the park, fireman's water fight, grand parade, and ending, of course, with the grand fireworks, which are getting bigger and better all the time. Thank you to all the volunteers and all the sponsors who make all these events possible. We'd like to send out a special thanks also to Sean and our public works crew for all the behind the scenes work that they do, because they keep our parks and our city looking great. They're also there back and forth on the 4th, helping to put up barricades, fences, whatever needs to be done. So it's a real team effort between citizens, volunteers, and our staff, and they all do a great job. It turns out wonderful every year, so thank you for that. That's all I've got. That'll take us to, where does that take us, Dick? Administrator's report?
Yeah.
All right.
Tonight, reports in your packet, and really nothing else to add. So the mayor included everything for our big Summerfest, and so I think we're all set to go from our side for it. So should be good. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, I got a mess going on here. That takes us, I believe, finance director, I think.
Yes, I have just a brief information for you. At the last meeting, we had a request to get some information on the pool passes. As of this morning at 6:45, we had 305 family passes, 116 single passes, and 198 punch passes. And then there was some discussion regarding the cost of our slushies and our popcorn. That had been moved up to $1. I went on the web with the listserv, which is with other communities in the area, to ask what they were getting for their concessions. And We in Casson are the only ones that have slushy and popcorn. The rest of them have like ice drinks and so forth. The slushies and ice drinks from other people were $1.50, and their popcorn was $1.25. And ours are $1 for slushies and popcorn. So I talked to some of the staff down there and that worked in the concession stand, and they have not received any comments or concerns.
And then our slushy cup did go up. It's a
In size.
10-ounce cup instead of an 8-ounce. You know, not a lot, but it did go up a little bit to kind of offset that pricing. And then Cheryl was going to ask all her staff at their next staff meeting, which is this week, too, if they had gotten any citizen comments to help us kind of reevaluate if need be, or do we come up with a special that basically the city subsidizes? And we said that would still kind of be up to you as a council. So, but Cheryl said she's mainly just tried to stay current with what our costs have ended up being.
Barb, how does that compare with 17? With the
We had
passes.
raised our prices on popcorn or slushies.
passes, on passes and admission.
Excuse me? It's about the same. I won't know till the end of the year because we're still selling passes like mad. I mean, we might sell 10 family passes in a day, so it's going up quite fast.
So it's comparable.
Yes, it's very comparable.
Good. Any other questions for Barb? All right, thank you, Barb. It takes us to Sean, Public Works.
I don't want to beat the dump up too much, but I do want to add that Storm is going to be in town during that stretch. We could be closed down. And I did tell her that we would they could use the dump. So I will probably give her access, the back access going through the wastewater plant to make sure that they can still use it. Because they're doing a service for the community. I don't want to put them out. So, and other than that, our signs, both entrance signs out on 6th are now poured completely, so we can hopefully install the signs before the 4th. They wouldn't have the landscaping done around them, but at least have the signs up and in place coming in on Highway 30 and County 106. So, and they have started placing the park signs. They started with Lake Florence down there. That one will be set before the 4th, and the others they'll be doing probably after the 4th.
What would you like to do with the retaining wall? Just put up a new modern retaining wall?
If you go look at it, it's beyond the point of repair. So we need to look at, and that's something with the budget for next year. I just threw that in there because we looked at it this week. You're probably going to have to be a poured wall.
Oh,
You can't put retaining wall blocks there. The salt just kills retaining wall black. So it probably have to be a poured wall. And you can do a stamped poured wall to make it look nice, whatever. But something that will hold up to the salt conditions. But just to give you guys a heads up that it is getting to the point where it's just disintegrating out there and it's tipping more and more and probably needs to be looked at sometime in the future.
And when you're cleaning up the brush dump with some of the pictures here, I didn't see these earlier, but when you have big boulders out there or railroad ties, what do you guys do with them?
They end up going down to Root River Transfer and we pay to get rid of them.
Huh.
They hauled the load from there not too long ago. It was $90 to haul the load out of them.
Is ice cream man out there or what?
So you really don't.
any other questions for Sean? All right, thanks, and I know you got a busy 4th coming up. No, them are bags. Them are bags.
Little bag.
Yeah. So thanks to guys that are gonna be spending part of their holiday in town too.
Good.
That'll take us to city engineers report.
No report, just an update for this year's project. Contractor would like to work, but weather has.
I got a question on that, and I asked Bill today. Can they continue, even though they can't do their underground because it's so sloppy up there? Couldn't they be busy, say, on the next street up, tearing out concrete, or up on Bell Street and stuff like that, so they don't fall 2 weeks behind on both projects?
It depends on if you. Once we remove the curb and start removing concrete, that's leaving those property owners to a mess of
So there's
not having that also.
So it's just there's nothing they can really move to be doing something else with. I'm just wondering.
trees.
They have they could possibly go and do some tree work, but
I'm
they
sure
have
they
about 2 days of water main work, and then they start testing. So they're gonna, once they're testing their water main, then they're gonna likely go and start those removals, and
You know,
then it goes to services.
I'm sure they've got it all figured out because they've been doing it for years. But I mean, it just seems like when they fall that behind on that one, when they have another one, they could be doing something. Just
The only problem with that too is then the homeowners have no access.
Yeah, they're starting to lose their.
Then they lose their, and then they pull out of there with it tore up, and then they're longer without access to their homes.
Yeah, so it's creating more of an inconvenience to those property owners on both. So
that's all I need.
how
to
you
know.
balance it, I
No,
don't know.
that's all I need to know.
And then at our next meeting, we will be presenting the feasibility report for next year's project, so.
Sewer plant's all up and running.
Sewer plant, last thing I heard was there was one item left on the punch list, and we have not received the O&M manuals yet, so we are not able to work towards closing that out yet. So, the prime contractor is having a hard time getting manuals from his subcontractors, and I'll let you just think of maybe why.
They hold them hostage.
Nice
They hold
thing.
them hostage.
So,
I've never heard of holding a manual hostage before. I suppose it could be done.
that's where we're at.
Seems like we should be able to Google them and find them on the internet, shouldn't we?
It's a condition of their contract that they are supposed to provide the O&M manuals, and that they are also supposed to provide their as-built drawings, and we do not want to close that contract until everything's provided.
Oh, I agree. All right. Any other questions for the engineer? All right, that'll take us to library director's report.
My report is in your packet, and I wanted to point out some of the things. June starts our summer reading month, and it's been quite busy at the library. We have already had a couple of programs, one over at the Civic Center, and we sponsored a free swim time at the pool last week. And today we had the story time, and it's one of the biggest ones we've had in quite some time. We had probably somewhere between 30 and 35 people in the library. We had babies, kids of all different sizes, and it was really great, very noisy. So if you were in there for quiet time, that it certainly wasn't. But we're doing a big project with Legos, and the staff secured a huge collection of Legos, and we have 3 tables in the library. Each table has bunches of Legos on it, so kids and parents, anyone who wants to, they can come in and build with the Legos. And the other thing we have, which seems to be really popular, is I think we have probably, it looks like close to 50 to 60 empty boxes that books came in, and we collected those, and then we sealed them up with all different kinds of colorful duct tape. And so they're all different sizes, so the kids can go in there and they can build all different kinds of things. We've had forts, buildings, one little boy did a maze. I mean, it's just, we were really surprised. We had no idea, but they just gravitate in there, and they just love doing this. So this has been a real successful project, and it ends in July.
Cool. Any questions for Pat? All right, thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
One thing I forgot to report on is they did have Gospel Bash number 5 at the Civic Center. Hey, you didn't get there, you missed another bash, on a Gospel Bash. It was attended fairly well again this year for Gloria. She did a good job on it. So. Next year will be Johnny Cash's cousin's nephew and somebody else. I can't remember who it is. But it'll be a good show again next year. All right, it takes us committee, commission, and board reports. Chamber of Commerce. Al, did you want to say anything?
you know, we're getting ready for the 4th, and we're looking for a few more volunteers. If anybody wants to donate an hour or two for the free dance, I think the gate's covered, but got some other spots we gotta cover yet. Get a hold of Gwen.
How did your guys' around the town flea market go this weekend?
Good. Yeah.
Well attended, both at your place and downtown and some of the other shops?
I was a little worried because they started parking on 10th Street. Oh, and I thought, oh gosh, first person that started parking, then they all start parking. Because they didn't know they could pull in our driveway. We had plenty of room for everybody to turn around, but they didn't want to do that. So I thought, oh gosh. But we were good. Yeah.
Good. All right. EDA, HRA?
Ooh, nothing in here.
Finance?
Nothing there either.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's
minutes
in
are
there.
there.
What
Yeah,
we
minutes are
discussed.
in there.
I thought we already talked about
Talk about the mower replacement and the GIS proposals, yep.
I was gonna say, one thing you all as a council can start thinking about is if you do have projects or ideas, because here near the end of July or August, we'll kind of start in on that budget workshop, timing or planning, so.
I will say it's part of the financing, and I know you're aware of it being on the fire department, but number 4 on there, and in your notes about that ladder truck, that's gonna be a big decision. We're gonna have to figure out how that's gonna go. Whether we do it or whether, you know, last I heard, I think, aren't they researching used ones again or supposedly? Or?
I have no idea since we had that meeting with them a month ago and they said that they were gonna bring us 3 quotes. I have not seen any quotes or no more.
He's looking at a $1 million piece of equipment, so.
And we are running out of time. I had talked to our bonding attorney and they need like 75 days before the election to get their stuff done. So we are running out of time.
All right. Library?
Nothing.
Park board? Personnel?
No, that's it.
Planning and zoning?
I think we meet in July.
Public safety? Mike's not here tonight. Have we got any issues that we know of or anything?
He's been mainly working with the chambers so they get the security of the street dance and everything taken care of, and then he's been helping us with how we deal with the streets during the parades.
All right. Public works? ROCOG?
No report.
Stu 180, nothing. Transit Advisory Committee? You ain't got a float in the parade or anything, do you?
We don't.
Okay. Communications, you got the MnDOT 190 overlay project that shows that in there.
And
Yep.
one extra thing with MnDOT, they just notified us today that there's gonna be another planning meeting coming up because they're working on a project that'll include those high tension cables in the middle of the median from Stewartville 20th Street up to the 52 bridge by Menards there. So that's a project they got pending.
Like
And
they
I don't know
did
if you've
up
seen
there.
them on there.
Way up on 52 North, up past Cannon Falls and stuff all
Yeah,
that.
it's one
Is
of
that
those
right?
kind, yeah.
Are they working? Are people getting shot back across the road when they hit them or what?
It prevents them from going into opposing traffic. Is
It does,
what
and it's
happens
working,
in
huh?
the winter. Yep, tends to help with the sliding factor.
Okay.
Although it might cause more damage to your vehicle, but
All right. Open mic. City Council welcomes and encourages participation from community members. Please keep in mind that your comments must be pertinent to city business. They must adhere to the data privacy rules. No employee's name may be used. Please do not expect action from the council this evening regarding your concerns. We also request that your comments be limited to 4 minutes. Speakers will be recognized only once. At this time, we ask that anyone who would like to address the city council, please step up to the podium, state your name and address. Girls, the microphone's all yours. Step up there.
Junior mayor.
I thought you had something to do or say. No?
She can't start one.
She ever been that quiet before?
no, you must have some effect on her. I don't know.
No one wants to use the open mic policy. We know what the next motion will be. A motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Second.
Head all over. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't say that.
You don't want, you're opposing?
No.
Adjourn.
You know,